Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that so many of you can make it here today. I know this kind of weather may cause you some inconvenience, so thank you for all coming here today. For those who don't know me, my name is Hương and I'm a psychologist from Ho Chi Minh State University of Pedagogy. So I know that some of you have been informed about the reason why we gathered here today, and some haven't. But before I tell you about the topic, let's just warm up a little bit, okay? So now I'm going to show you two pictures of two men, and what I want you to do is to identify which one of them is actually gay. Okay? Now let's just guess. Can you? So I can notice that some of you have difficulty in identifying them, right? Because when I mention the word gay, immediately in your head, you will think of something like this or this. Am I correct? So your brain has done an excellent job in telling you what you should be looking at before I even show you the picture. How is that possible? So that's the reason why I'm here to discuss with you, and I just put you through one of the most common stereotypes that all human beings have. And ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you our topic here today? Stereotype. Don't let it affect your judgment. So let's look at the outline and what I'm going to talk about. The first one is what is stereotype. Then I'll move on to some harmful effects that stereotype has on us. And finally, I will show you some ways to get rid of stereotype. My talk will last no more than 10 minutes, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask me after my presentation, and don't bother taking notes because I have prepared you some handouts and I will deliver it to you later. So let's move on to the first part. What is a stereotype? So I know that some of you are really confused, right? So what is a stereotype? Stereotype is a fixed image or idea that many people have of a particular person or thing, which is usually not true in reality. What I mean by saying so is, whenever you see somebody and you make a judgment about them before you even know them, that's mean you are stereotyping. Let's take some example of some common stereotype so that you can understand more. The first one, also the most common stereotype you may encounter in everyday life is gender stereotype, men and women. So when you think about men, what do you think about? You think men should be strong, men should be the financial provider of the family, the backbone. He should show no emotion when he's upset. Should he cry? Of course no. How about the woman? Woman is supposed to be weak, vulnerable. She's supposed to stay at home, have babies, take care of her family, right? So that's gender stereotype. The next type is cultural stereotype. So let's take this as an example. When you think about Arab people, you think about terrorists. When you think about French people, you think they are sexy and good kisser. Right? And when other stereotypes also include like some groups of people, like librarians. When you think about librarians, you think about the old lady with the thick glasses, with the high bun behind her head. She's very difficult, very annoying. When you think about people with tattoos in their hands, what do you think about? You think about criminals or rebels. So that's a common stereotype that we all have. And the question is, why do we stereotype? So, as far as I know, that we began to stereotype people in our early childhood. You know, when we was a child, we absorb things like a sponge. Everything we see, everything we read on the TV from our parents, our family, affected us a lot. And one of them is the media. Let's take Disney movie as an example. So besides teaching us about the values of friendship, the love, the courage, Disney movies also taught us how to stereotype. So they are the good guys, right? They play the role as a good guy. So when you see them, you see a very tender smile on their face. They look very generous, very kind. Also the prince. The prince is supposed to be charming. He's very kind and generous too. And how about the bad guys, the villains in the movies? Yeah, of course, you will notice that in their face there's evil smiles on their face, and they will always wear dark clothes. So, from those movies, we learn to stereotype people. When you see a person wearing dark clothes or have an evil smile on their face, immediately you will categorize them into the category of bad guys, and you say, he looks really fishy, don't sit next to him. He may cause you some trouble. So, that is dangerous. Another reason why stereotypes still exist is our fear. What I mean by saying so is, this word around us is really complicated and highly confusing. So, we are afraid of it. That's why we stereotype. We categorize things and people we saw every day into categories so we can easily deal with them. We can easily know how to treat them. For example, when you go to the grocery store like this, what do you see? A mess? Yes, you will see a mess. But when you ask a shopkeeper to sell you something, he immediately will find you the thing that you need. How can he do so? Because he puts things into categories so that he can easily find them. And you don't know what the thing is, so you're really confused, right? Without the help of the shopkeeper, can you find the things? No. So imagine that our world is just like a grocery store. And it's very confusing. And without categorizing, and you can easily get lost. That's why stereotypes still exist. So to make you understand more about the harmful effects that stereotype might bring, I will take an example. I have a friend, which is a foreigner, American, and I worked with him, and one day when I asked him, so Robert, what do you think about Vietnamese people? And he hesitates for a while, then he answered me, well, I think Vietnamese people in general, they are fairly friendly, but rude, curious, and careless people. Wow, I was shocked. Why do you think so? And he accidentally hurt my feeling because I'm Vietnamese too. So Robert has typecast Vietnamese people into the category of rudeness and carelessness, right? So he accidentally hurt my feeling. And imagine if he is the interviewer and I am the interviewee going to his company to apply for a job. He already has a bad impression on me. So do you think I would get the job if he had typecast me as a person that's rude and very careless? Maybe no. So he and I both look at opportunities to work together. So how can we get rid of stereotypes? It has many bad effects on us. So we should get rid of it, right? But my friend, I'm here today not to show you some advice, not to show you some steps to get rid of stereotypes, but I'm here today to inform you about it, to help you to have some knowledge about stereotypes so that you can figure out your own ways to try to tackle it. My advice is to think outside of the box. Stereotype is standing in your way and put you into the box. So you see the world just through a small box. What you should do is just think outside of the box. When you meet one person, treat him as a person. Don't categorize into categories. Treat them as the person that you see. And by doing so, you will gradually get rid of stereotypes, and its harmful effects won't let any influence on you.
So we have reached the end of my presentation. So far I have informed you some information about some common stereotypes, their harmful effects on people who stereotype and people who is stereotyped. I welcome all of your questions. Thank you for your listening.